The art of workplace influence. Imagine a scenario where you manage to get a major project approved without ever directly asking for it, or where you're trusted with responsibilities that you never formally requested. It's not magic, nor is it coincidence. It's the art of subtle influence. Influence is a powerful force, one that shapes decisions, builds reputations, and determines success. In the workplace, this influence takes on a unique form. We are constantly surrounded by people who hold the power to shape our careers and the ability to influence those individuals, without them even realizing it, can be the difference between stagnation and success. This type of influence doesn't look like the loud, brash tactics often associated with power plays. Instead, it's quiet, calculated, and deeply psychological. In fact, many people use influence in a workplace environment without even realizing they're doing it. Subtle manipulation can involve guiding decisions, shaping perceptions, and making things unfold in a way that benefits you, all without leaving a trace of your efforts. This technique is often overlooked because it's seamlessly woven into everyday interactions. The person you've seen climb the career ladder without making the loudest noise may simply be using influence, not by commanding others, but by subtly guiding them towards decisions they may not even realize are in their best interest. For many, the concept of manipulating others, especially a boss, feels uncomfortable. After all, manipulation often carries a negative connotation, often associated with deceit or coercion. But in truth, manipulation in the workplace doesn't always mean control in the aggressive, negative sense. It can be more about guiding someone's actions, shaping their viewpoint, or positioning yourself in a way that gives you an edge. When used appropriately, it is more about subtle influence than about forceful persuasion. Subtle manipulation is about understanding the nuances of human behavior, what motivates people, what influences their decisions, and how you can align your actions with those factors in a way that feels natural to them. It's not about coercing someone to act against their will or best interests. It's about understanding their needs and aligning your approach to create a mutually beneficial outcome, often without them even realizing they've been influenced. Everyday interactions in the workplace offer numerous opportunities to exercise subtle influence. Think about the times when you've witnessed someone advance in their career, despite not being the hardest worker or the most qualified. Maybe they didn't have the most impressive resume, but they knew how to position themselves in a way that others took notice. They understood the psychology behind influence, how people think, how they make decisions, and how they respond to certain situations. What if they didn't rely on qualifications alone, but instead knew how to navigate the workplace dynamics, positioning themselves as the person with the answers, the person who always had the boss's ear? There's no trickery involved, just a deep understanding of human psychology and how it plays out in the dynamics of the workplace. This type of subtle manipulation doesn't involve any overt or aggressive tactics, but it's often more effective than trying to force your way into a position of power. It's about understanding the different layers of influence and using those layers to your advantage to make decisions work for you in a way that feels seamless and natural. In the workplace, influence often starts with understanding the most fundamental psychological principles that govern decision-making. One of the most powerful factors is how people respond to authority figures, such as your boss. Whether we realize it or not, we are all influenced by the power dynamics at play in our offices. In fact, many of our workplace interactions are shaped by these dynamics more than we realize. We respond to our boss's behavior, their tone, and even their body language in ways that influence how we perform and how they perceive us. The key to subtle manipulation is recognizing these unconscious cues and using them to your advantage. Consider the times when you've observed others in the office making decisions seemingly without much effort, while others may struggle despite putting in the extra work. What's the difference? It often boils down to how these individuals influence the people around them. These are not the people who demand attention, but those who know how to make their ideas seem like the boss's ideas. They position themselves as valuable contributors by subtly aligning their thoughts with the company's direction and aligning with the preferences of their boss. It's not manipulation in the sense of trickery. It's manipulation in the sense of understanding how to position yourself and your ideas in a way that feels natural to others. In these situations, it's not about what you know, but how you make others feel about what you know. This idea of emotional intelligence plays a big part in workplace manipulation. The ability to gauge your boss's mood, understand their goals, and position your contributions accordingly can give you a huge advantage over those who simply rely on hard work or technical skill alone. When we discuss manipulation in this context, it's important to realize that everyone uses some form of influence, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. When you suggest an idea, request a favor, or even make a casual recommendation, you're exercising influence. The difference between subtle influence and overt manipulation lies in how effectively you understand human behavior and the power dynamics at play in the workplace. Manipulation, when used ethically, can be a powerful tool to navigate office politics, advance your career, and position yourself as an indispensable part of the team. The key is using this influence in ways that are beneficial not only for you, but also for your team, your boss, and your organization as a whole. The psychology behind influence and manipulation. Understanding the psychology behind influence and manipulation is key to mastering subtle workplace influence. The human mind doesn't always make decisions based on logic. Instead, much of our decision-making happens through mental shortcuts, subconscious processes that can be predicted and used to guide behavior. These shortcuts, known as cognitive biases, are essential to understanding how influence operates beneath the surface. One of the most interesting biases is the anchoring effect. This is a tendency for people to rely too heavily on the first piece of information they encounter. In the workplace, this often manifests when someone makes a decision based on the first impression or initial data, even if more relevant information becomes available later. For example, if your boss initially hears that a project will take 2 months, they may use that figure as a benchmark when evaluating progress, even if the project could be completed faster. By introducing the right information early on, you can influence how decisions are made without appearing to push your own agenda. Another bias that plays a role in workplace influence is the availability heuristic. This is the tendency to make judgments based on what information is most readily available or recent in one's memory. If your boss recently praised a team member for a particular project, they might more easily recall that success when assigning future tasks. This bias can be used strategically to ensure that the most favorable examples of your work are front and center when opportunities arise. The more readily your successes come to mind, the more likely it is that you will be seen as the go-to person for future projects. The endowment effect is another powerful bias. People tend to value things more highly once they own them or are associated with them. In the workplace, this can manifest when employees are emotionally invested in their projects, roles, or ideas. Once someone feels ownership over a project or task, they are less likely to want to let go of it, even if it's no longer the best solution. By creating a sense of ownership over ideas or projects early on, you can subtly influence your boss's willingness to commit to them long-term. Contrast bias is another subtle yet influential force in the workplace. People tend to evaluate options based on comparisons rather than absolute value. This means that presenting your ideas or achievements in comparison to something less favorable can make them appear more valuable. If you frame your performance review in contrast to a struggling colleague's performance, it can highlight your strengths more effectively without you having to make the comparison directly. This bias is crucial for navigating office dynamics and positioning yourself favorably in the eyes of your boss. The projection bias can also shape workplace influence in subtle ways. This is the tendency to assume that others share our feelings, attitudes, or perspectives. In the workplace, this might show up when you believe your boss is motivated by the same factors that drive you, such as success, recognition, or the need for stability. Understanding that this bias can sometimes cloud judgment allows you to influence decisions by aligning your proposals or actions with the assumed motivations of others. By recognizing what drives those in power, you can tailor your approach to make them feel understood, even if it's not entirely accurate. A key to influencing others effectively is understanding how framing works. The way information is presented can drastically change how it's perceived. For example, presenting an idea as a chance to excel rather than just another task can make a world of difference. People are influenced by how things are positioned, and framing an idea in a positive light can lead to more favorable outcomes without direct persuasion. Finally, confirmation bias plays a large role in influencing decisions. People are naturally inclined to seek out information that supports their existing beliefs or decisions. This bias often works in your favor when you present ideas or information that align with what your boss already believes. By understanding this, you can subtly guide decisions in your direction by reinforcing the ideas that are already circulating within the workplace. By recognizing these cognitive biases and learning to work with them, rather than against them, you gain the power to subtly influence workplace decisions. This influence doesn't have to be overt or manipulative. It's about understanding human psychology and making decisions that align with the biases that shape behavior. The goal is to harness this knowledge to improve outcomes without anyone realizing they're being subtly guided along the way. Understand your boss. The key to subtle manipulation. Understanding your boss's personality is a critical element in mastering subtle manipulation in the workplace. While it's easy to focus on improving your own skills and performance, the key to influencing your boss often lies in understanding how they think, what drives them, and how they make decisions. Every boss has a distinct style, and by recognizing and adapting to it, you can make your actions and ideas seem more aligned with their objectives. This doesn't mean simply agreeing with them all the time. It's about tailoring your approach so that your contributions are seen as valuable in a way that resonates with their leadership style. One of the first steps in this process is to observe how your boss communicates and reacts in various situations. Do they prefer detailed, data-driven reports, or do they value creativity and big-picture thinking? Understanding their communication preferences is critical to gaining influence. For example, if your boss tends to make quick decisions based on gut instinct, a lengthy analysis might not be the most effective way to present your ideas. Instead, a concise, well-thought-out pitch that appeals to their intuition might get you the results you want. On the other hand, if they are more methodical and value structure, providing a detailed plan with metrics might be the best approach. Understanding how your boss deals with conflict is also a powerful insight. Some managers are more confrontational and appreciate direct communication, while others may avoid conflict and prefer a more diplomatic approach. If you can tailor your communication style to match their conflict resolution preferences, you'll be able to navigate disagreements more effectively. For instance, if your boss is conflict-averse, it may be more beneficial to address issues one-on-one in a non-confrontational manner, instead of publicly disagreeing or making demands. This subtle shift can make all the difference in how your feedback is received and whether or not your ideas are taken seriously. Another key element of understanding your boss is recognizing what they value most in the workplace. Do they prioritize efficiency, innovation, team cohesion, or financial results? If you can identify their core values and align your actions with them, you'll become more of a strategic asset in their eyes. For example, if your boss is highly results-oriented, emphasizing how your ideas will drive revenue or improve performance is more likely to get their attention. If they are focused on team morale, framing your proposal in terms of collaboration and team success might resonate more deeply with them. Understanding what motivates your boss helps you position your ideas in a way that aligns with their priorities, making it easier for them to adopt your suggestions. In addition to observing their communication and leadership style, it's important to note how your boss perceives success. Some bosses may value independence and prefer that their employees handle tasks autonomously, while others may appreciate being more involved in the decision-making process. If you can identify where your boss falls on this spectrum, you can adjust your approach accordingly. For example, if your boss likes to be hands-on, offering regular updates or involving them in the decision-making process may be more effective. If they value autonomy, then taking ownership of a project and presenting them with results may be the better approach. One useful tool for understanding your boss's preferences is the concept of personality types. Various systems, such as the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, or DISC personality assessment, can provide a framework for identifying your boss's dominant traits. While these personality systems are not foolproof, they can serve as a helpful guide in understanding how your boss may react to certain situations. For example, if your boss is an ENTJ, a natural leader according to MBTI, they may respond well to direct, logical communication and appreciate individuals who challenge the status quo. If they're an ISFJ, they might prefer a more empathetic, considerate approach that values teamwork and stability. By adapting your approach to match these tendencies, you can communicate more effectively and increase the likelihood that your ideas will be embraced. It's also important to observe how your boss interacts with others. Are they more focused on building personal relationships, or do they keep things strictly professional? Knowing whether your boss values personal rapport or prefers a more business-like interaction can help you tailor your communication style. If they value personal relationships, taking the time to connect on a personal level may work in your favor. If they are more professional and prefer to keep things focused on work, respect their boundaries and keep your interactions more task-oriented. Once you have a clearer understanding of your boss's personality, communication style, and values, it becomes easier to adapt your behavior in ways that align with their needs. This doesn't mean changing who you are or abandoning your values. Rather, it's about recognizing that people, including your boss, have certain triggers that influence their decisions and actions. By adapting to these triggers in a subtle way, you position yourself as someone who is both insightful and attuned to their needs. For example, if you've noticed that your boss tends to make decisions quickly when given visual presentations, you might opt to present a proposal in a visually compelling way, using charts or infographics, rather than a long written report. Similarly, if your boss is someone who prefers a more laid-back, informal environment, adopting a less formal communication style could create a more comfortable space for sharing your ideas. The more you align your actions and communication with your boss's preferences, the more likely you are to gain their support and trust. Ultimately, understanding your boss is about recognizing that their decisions are influenced by their personal characteristics, motivations, and the unique challenges they face. By being aware of these factors and tailoring your approach accordingly, you can influence their decisions subtly, without pushing them into anything they're not comfortable with. The goal is to create a situation where your ideas feel like the natural next step for your boss, making it easier for them to say yes to your proposals. The power of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is an often underestimated yet immensely powerful tool in the workplace. While much of our daily interactions are driven by words, the reality is that our body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even our posture speak volumes more than words ever can. In fact, studies suggest that nonverbal cues account for as much as 93% of communication, with only a small fraction being attributed to the actual words spoken. This makes understanding and mastering nonverbal communication essential to exerting influence in any setting, especially in the workplace. One of the most fundamental elements of nonverbal communication is body language. How you present yourself physically can convey confidence, competence, or, conversely, insecurity and hesitation. The way you sit, stand, and even walk can influence how others perceive you, including your boss. For example, adopting a power pose, such as standing tall with your shoulders back and chest open, can project authority and confidence. Conversely, slouching or crossing your arms may signal defensiveness or a lack of confidence. By being mindful of your body language, you can ensure that it aligns with the influence you want to project in the workplace. Eye contact is another critical aspect of nonverbal communication that holds tremendous power. People tend to trust individuals who maintain appropriate and consistent eye contact, as it's seen as a sign of confidence, attentiveness, and sincerity. On the flip side, avoiding eye contact or excessively staring can be interpreted as a lack of confidence or even deceit. The key is balance, maintaining natural, engaging eye contact without overdoing it. In workplace interactions, eye contact can be used strategically to convey sincerity, emphasize a point, or build rapport with your boss or colleagues. A well-timed glance can solidify your message and enhance your credibility. Facial expressions are another powerful form of nonverbal communication. The human face is incredibly expressive and capable of conveying a wide range of emotions, often more effectively than words. A simple smile can convey warmth and openness, making you appear more approachable and trustworthy. However, it's important to be authentic. A forced or insincere smile can be detected easily and might have the opposite effect, causing you to appear untrustworthy. Similarly, maintaining a neutral expression or showing empathy when listening can help convey attentiveness and understanding. Reading your boss's facial expressions can also provide insight into their mood or reactions, allowing you to adjust your approach accordingly. While body language and eye contact are important, subtle gestures can play a huge role in influencing workplace dynamics. Mirroring, or subtly imitating the body language of another person, is a powerful nonverbal technique that can foster rapport and create a sense of connection. For example, if your boss leans forward while speaking, mirroring this behavior can make them feel more comfortable and understood. This technique works because humans tend to bond with those who share similar behaviors and attitudes. Mirroring signals that you are in sync with the other person, creating a subconscious sense of agreement or camaraderie. Moreover, gestures can be used strategically to emphasize certain points or convey enthusiasm. For instance, a hand gesture that accompanies a well-crafted point can help bring attention to the message you're trying to convey. Gesturing in a calm, controlled manner can project authority, while overly aggressive or erratic gestures can signal impatience or insecurity. The key is to keep your gestures fluid and natural, ensuring they complement the message you're delivering rather than detracting from it. Posture also plays a significant role in nonverbal communication. The way you carry yourself can send powerful signals about your status, attitude, and approachability. People who adopt open postures, with their shoulders back and chest forward, often appear confident and approachable. Conversely, closed postures, such as crossing arms or hunching over, can signal defensiveness or insecurity. Maintaining an open posture not only boosts how others perceive you, but also helps project an aura of confidence and readiness. Additionally, keeping a relaxed, grounded posture when interacting with your boss can convey a sense of calm authority, suggesting you are in control of the situation. The tone of voice is another crucial aspect of nonverbal communication. While the words we speak are important, the tone, pitch, and pace at which we deliver them can dramatically alter the meaning. A firm, steady voice conveys confidence and authority, while a shaky or high-pitched voice may convey nervousness. Similarly, the rate at which you speak can influence how your message is received. Speaking too quickly may make you seem rushed or anxious, while speaking too slowly might cause others to lose interest. The key is to strike a balance, maintain a confident, steady tone, and adjust your speed according to the context of the conversation. In the workplace, physical proximity, or proxemics, is another important nonverbal factor. The distance you maintain from others during an interaction can influence how your message is received. In Western cultures, a comfortable physical distance in a business setting is typically about an arm's length. Standing too close to someone can be perceived as invasive, while standing too far can make you appear distant or disengaged. Being aware of the appropriate level of proximity in various interactions can help foster a sense of comfort and respect, allowing you to build better relationships and communicate more effectively. The use of silence is often overlooked, but is a potent tool in nonverbal communication. Pausing after making a point or asking a question can be incredibly powerful, especially in meetings or conversations with your boss. Silence can create a sense of tension that encourages others to respond, or it can give weight to your words, allowing the message to resonate more deeply. Knowing when to stay quiet and let the conversation breathe can give you an edge in subtle influence, as it conveys confidence in your ideas and gives others space to reflect on your message. By mastering these nonverbal communication techniques, you gain an invaluable tool in influencing others, especially in the workplace. These subtle cues and gestures can often convey more than words ever could, providing a pathway to greater influence and success. Whether you're presenting an idea, managing a conflict, or simply interacting with colleagues, being conscious of how your body communicates can dramatically improve your ability to guide decisions and shape perceptions. Ultimately, nonverbal communication is about aligning your actions with your intentions, ensuring that every gesture, every glance, and every movement serves to reinforce your message and strengthen your influence. Mastering the art of persuasive language. The way we speak holds tremendous power in influencing others, and mastering the art of persuasive language can significantly enhance your ability to influence your boss or colleagues. The words you choose, how you frame your message, and the tone in which you deliver it can make all the difference between getting your point across and being ignored. Persuasive language is not about manipulation in the traditional sense. Rather, it's about aligning your message with the way your audience thinks and reacts. One powerful technique in persuasive language is framing, the way you present information to influence how it's perceived. How you frame a conversation, an idea, or even a request can shape how it is received. For instance, if you're proposing a new idea, you might frame it as a solution to an existing problem, rather than presenting it as an additional task or burden. By framing your message in terms of solving a problem or meeting a need, you make it more appealing to your boss, who is likely more focused on outcomes than the process. This subtle shift in how you position your message can significantly increase the chances of it being accepted. Another effective tactic is anchoring, the psychological principle of setting a reference point to influence subsequent judgments. For example, if you want your boss to approve a budget increase, you might start by discussing a much larger budget proposal before presenting your actual, smaller request. The initial, larger number serves as an anchor, making your actual request seem more reasonable in comparison. This technique taps into the human tendency to rely on the first piece of information they are given, influencing their perception of what is acceptable. Scarcity is another persuasive tool that can be used in language. The principle of scarcity suggests that people tend to value things more when they perceive them as limited or in short supply. By emphasizing the limited availability of an opportunity, resource, or idea, you can create a sense of urgency. For example, if you're asking for additional resources or time for a project, you could frame it as a unique opportunity that may not be available in the future, thereby making it more attractive to your boss. Scarcity creates a sense of urgency, nudging your boss to make a quicker, more favorable decision. A key component of persuasive language is assertiveness, which involves expressing your thoughts and desires in a confident yet respectful manner. Assertiveness allows you to communicate your ideas without coming across as aggressive or passive. It's a fine balance between confidence and respect for others' viewpoints. When you're assertive, you are clear about your intentions and expectations, which makes it easier for others, especially your boss, to understand what you want and why it matters. It also helps you to maintain control of the conversation, ensuring that your message is heard without being overly forceful. When delivering persuasive language, storytelling can be a powerful tool. Humans are wired for stories. We respond to narratives because they help us understand complex ideas in a relatable way. By weaving a story around your message, you can make your point more engaging and memorable. For example, if you're proposing a new project, tell a story about how a similar initiative worked in the past, or use a hypothetical scenario to demonstrate the potential benefits. This approach helps to create an emotional connection with your audience, making your message more compelling and easier to connect with on a personal level. It's also crucial to recognize the power of questions in persuasive language. Asking the right questions can guide the conversation, make your boss reflect on the issue, and even prompt them to arrive at the conclusion you want. For example, instead of directly asking for approval, you might ask, "How do you think this approach aligns with the goals we've set for the team?" This question invites your boss to engage with the idea, consider it from a new perspective, and even feel like they are coming to the decision themselves, which can increase their investment in the outcome. Finally, active listening is an essential skill in persuasive communication. It's not enough to speak well. You must also be attuned to the reactions of your audience. By actively listening to your boss's concerns, feedback, and even body language, you can adjust your message accordingly. Active listening shows respect for the other person's viewpoint and helps you identify any reservations or objections they may have. Once you understand their position, you can address their concerns in a way that aligns with your objectives, making your argument more persuasive. Incorporating these persuasive techniques into your communication strategy can significantly increase your influence in the workplace. The key is not to force your ideas or manipulate others, but to understand the psychological triggers that drive human behavior and use those insights to craft messages that resonate with your audience. By mastering persuasive language, you can ensure that your ideas are not only heard but are more likely to be embraced by your boss, leading to more favorable outcomes in your career. Emotional manipulation, playing on feelings without guilt. Emotions are a powerful force in decision-making, often outweighing logic or reason. In the workplace, understanding and harnessing emotions can be one of the most effective ways to subtly influence your boss, colleagues, or even clients. Emotional manipulation, when used ethically, can help you build stronger connections, gain support, and navigate complex situations without ever appearing manipulative. The key is to appeal to emotions in a way that aligns with the other person's values and desires, without exploiting their vulnerabilities. One of the primary emotions you can tap into is sympathy. When someone feels sympathy toward you, they are more likely to offer help or support. In the workplace, showing vulnerability or sharing a personal struggle can create an emotional connection that makes people more willing to assist you. However, it's important to exercise caution here. Manipulating sympathy should never feel like an exploitation of someone else's goodwill. Instead, use it as a tool to show genuine human connection and to subtly influence decisions that are in your favor. For example, if you're dealing with a tight deadline or overwhelming workload, expressing how it's affecting your ability to perform can elicit sympathy, leading others to offer assistance or resources. Empathy is another emotion that plays a significant role in workplace manipulation. When you show empathy towards others, you build trust and rapport, which can help influence their decisions in your favor. Empathy involves understanding the feelings and emotions of others and reflecting those feelings back in a way that makes them feel heard and understood. For example, if a colleague is stressed about a project, expressing understanding and offering to help can create a sense of connection and goodwill, which can be leveraged to your advantage later. By making others feel understood and supported, you foster an environment where they are more likely to reciprocate your kindness or support you when you need it. Guilt can be a potent emotional tool when used correctly. By subtly making someone feel guilty for not taking action, you can prompt them to change their behavior. In the workplace, this might look like reminding a boss of their past commitments or emphasizing the personal responsibility that comes with a task. However, guilt should be used carefully and sparingly. Overusing guilt can backfire, causing resentment or emotional exhaustion. Instead, focus on expressing how a particular situation makes you feel and how it could be improved with their help. For example, if a project is delayed, you might say, "I understand that everyone is juggling priorities, but I feel that we're falling behind and could really use your support to keep things on track." This tactic places responsibility in a non-confrontational way, making the other person feel more inclined to act. Another emotional trigger to consider is fear, which is often overlooked in the workplace. Fear can be a powerful motivator, whether it's the fear of missing out, FOMO, on an opportunity, fear of negative consequences, or fear of being left behind. In the context of influencing your boss, you can subtly play on these fears without being manipulative. For instance, if there's an opportunity for growth or advancement, you might emphasize how others in the company are seizing it, creating a sense of urgency and fear of falling behind. This can encourage action without directly forcing anyone's hand. Similarly, framing the negative consequences of an action, like a missed deadline or lost opportunity, can nudge someone to take the necessary steps to avoid those fears. Trust is another deeply rooted emotion that plays into emotional manipulation. Building trust can be one of the most effective ways to subtly influence decisions. When people trust you, they are more likely to take your advice, believe in your capabilities, and act on your suggestions. In the workplace, trust is essential for gaining influence, and it's built over time through consistent actions, open communication, and reliability. However, trust can also be used strategically to influence decisions. If your boss or colleagues trust you, they may be more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt when presenting ideas or proposals, giving you a significant advantage in decision-making processes. In contrast to the more subtle emotional manipulation techniques, flattery is an emotional strategy that can have a powerful effect when used appropriately. Compliments, when they feel genuine, can boost someone's ego and create a sense of connection. People like being recognized and appreciated, and offering sincere praise for someone's work, leadership, or skills can influence how they perceive you. However, flattery should always be authentic. If it feels forced or disingenuous, it can have the opposite effect and may lead to skepticism. Praise should focus on specific achievements or qualities that are genuinely admirable to ensure it's well received. One powerful but often underutilized emotional tool is pride. Everyone wants to feel proud of their work and their achievements. By tapping into this emotion, you can motivate others to take action or support your initiatives. In the workplace, this could be achieved by highlighting how a particular action or decision will reflect positively on the person you're trying to influence. For instance, if you're proposing a new strategy or plan, emphasizing how it will enhance your boss's reputation or contribute to the team's success can inspire them to get behind your idea. People are motivated by pride, and by framing your requests in a way that makes others feel like their involvement will bring them pride, you increase the likelihood of gaining their support. Finally, hope is an emotion that can drive action, especially when it comes to long-term goals and initiatives. Hope can inspire people to believe in the possibility of success, even in the face of challenges. In the workplace, you can subtly influence others by framing ideas or tasks in a way that emphasizes the potential positive outcomes. By focusing on the future and the possibilities that lie ahead, you can motivate others to take action and stay committed to a shared vision. For example, instead of focusing on the difficulties of a project, you might highlight the positive outcomes that will result from completing it, creating a sense of hope that drives progress. Emotional manipulation, when done ethically and subtly, can be a powerful tool for influencing others without being overt or forceful. It's not about playing on vulnerabilities or using emotions to control others. Rather, it's about understanding the emotions that drive decisions and leveraging them in ways that align with your goals while respecting others' autonomy and well-being. By mastering emotional manipulation, you can foster stronger relationships, gain support for your ideas, and position yourself as a trusted, influential figure in the workplace. Leverage social influence, the power of group dynamics. Human beings are inherently social creatures. In the workplace, much of our behavior and decision-making is influenced not just by our individual desires, but also by the dynamics of the groups we are part of. Social influence refers to the ways in which individuals alter their attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors to align with the expectations of others. Understanding group dynamics can provide a powerful tool for influencing your boss, colleagues, and even clients, without having to make overt requests or force your will upon others. One of the most influential aspects of social influence is peer pressure, which occurs when individuals change their behavior or decisions to fit in with a group. While peer pressure often carries a negative connotation, in the workplace, it can be used to align colleagues and superiors with your ideas, without appearing to push them in that direction. For example, if you introduce an idea to a team and it's well received by others, your boss might feel a subtle pressure to endorse it simply because the group is backing it. This creates a situation where the decision is framed not as your own request, but as a collective agreement, making it harder for your boss to oppose without causing disruption. Conformity is another powerful element of social influence. It refers to the act of matching one's attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors to what is perceived to be the norm within a group. In the workplace, people often conform to the behavior and expectations of their colleagues, especially when they want to be accepted or avoid conflict. Understanding this principle can help you shape group behavior in ways that will align with your goals. For instance, if you want to introduce a new policy or process, you can first get buy-in from key members of the team. Once a few influential voices are on board, others will often follow suit, as they seek to conform to the group's expectations. Social proof is a related concept, where people tend to follow the actions of others in uncertain situations. This is the phenomenon where individuals look to others' behavior to guide their own decisions. In the workplace, social proof can be a powerful tool when trying to convince your boss to take action. If you can demonstrate that other departments or teams are successfully implementing a similar initiative, you can increase the likelihood that your boss will approve your idea. This is why showcasing success stories or getting influential team members to support your initiatives can be a subtle yet effective way to sway decision makers. When a boss or colleague sees that everyone else is doing it, they are more likely to follow suit, even if the idea originally seemed unconventional. Another social influence technique is the use of in-group/out-group dynamics. This refers to the tendency of people to favor those who belong to the same group or have similar attributes. In the workplace, identifying commonalities with your boss or colleagues can create a sense of unity, increasing your ability to influence their decisions. Whether it's shared professional experiences, interests, or even mutual acquaintances, leveraging these commonalities can make you appear more aligned with their values, thus increasing your influence over them. For example, finding ways to highlight shared goals or values with your boss can help you gain their support and make it easier for you to steer conversations in your direction. Additionally, group cohesion plays a critical role in social influence. When people are part of a cohesive team that works well together, they are more likely to agree with each other's ideas and decisions. In a cohesive team, individuals trust each other's judgment, which creates a sense of collective responsibility. If you can foster a sense of group cohesion and solidarity, you increase the chances that your ideas will be accepted, not just by your boss, but by the team as a whole. Creating a sense of unity within your team and positioning your ideas as beneficial for the group as a whole can make them more appealing and harder to dismiss. Social identity theory also explains how individuals are influenced by their affiliation with groups. This theory suggests that people define themselves in terms of the groups they belong to, whether it's a team, a department, or even a company. The way people perceive their identity within a group can significantly impact their decisions and behavior. If you can align your proposals with the identity of the group, your ideas are more likely to be accepted. For instance, if your company values innovation, positioning your idea as a step toward embracing cutting-edge technology could make it more appealing to your boss and colleagues. By framing your ideas in a way that aligns with the values and identity of the group, you increase the likelihood of gaining support. Furthermore, social comparison theory suggests that people evaluate their own opinions and abilities by comparing themselves to others. In the workplace, this can work to your advantage by subtly influencing how others perceive your ideas. If you can position your ideas in comparison to something more familiar or established within the company, you can make them appear more appealing. For example, if you're proposing a change, you might compare the potential results to a project that was well received in the past, positioning your proposal as the next logical step. By doing so, you capitalize on the natural tendency of others to compare and contrast ideas and actions. Finally, leadership and authority within groups are essential to social influence. People are more likely to follow the guidance of those who are seen as leaders or experts within a group. To leverage this, you can position yourself as a thought leader within your team or department, even if it's informally. This can be achieved by consistently contributing valuable ideas, offering solutions to problems, or simply being a dependable and authoritative presence in meetings. Once you are seen as a leader or expert, your ability to influence group decisions grows significantly. Social influence in the workplace is about understanding the psychological dynamics that shape group behavior and using those insights to subtly influence decisions. By leveraging principles such as conformity, social proof, in-group dynamics, and leadership, you can create an environment where your ideas are more likely to be accepted. Rather than relying solely on individual persuasion, social influence allows you to harness the power of the group to gain support for your initiatives and position yourself as a key player in the workplace. The art of framing, shaping the narrative. One of the most powerful techniques in subtle influence is framing, the art of shaping how information is presented to influence how it is perceived. The way you present an idea, a decision, or even a problem can dramatically change how it is received by your boss, colleagues, or clients. In essence, framing is about telling a story in a particular way to guide the listener's interpretation and, ultimately, their response. This technique is rooted in psychology and is widely used in marketing, politics, and negotiations because of its profound impact on decision-making. The key to effective framing lies in emphasizing certain aspects of information while downplaying others. For example, if you're presenting a project proposal to your boss, framing it as a solution to an existing problem rather than as an additional task can make it far more appealing. People are more inclined to support actions that solve problems, as they are naturally more focused on outcomes. By framing your proposal as something that will resolve a pressing issue or challenge, you make it seem like an opportunity rather than an obstacle to be overcome. Another example of framing in the workplace is the positive versus negative frame. In a decision-making scenario, people often respond differently depending on how options are presented. If you present an option in terms of its potential losses or what might be at stake, it tends to create a sense of urgency and fear of missing out. On the other hand, presenting the same option in terms of the gains or benefits can evoke optimism and excitement. For instance, when suggesting a course of action, emphasizing how it will improve team performance, save time, or increase revenue appeals to the desire for gain, whereas focusing on potential negative consequences or risks often evokes a sense of urgency or caution. One powerful framing technique is anchoring, which is often used in conjunction with framing. Anchoring involves setting a reference point for decisions by presenting an initial piece of information that influences subsequent judgments. For example, if you're negotiating for a budget increase, presenting an initially high request, one that you don't expect to be fully met, sets an anchor point that makes your actual request seem more reasonable. Your boss is likely to base their response on the initial anchor, making it easier for them to agree to a more moderate request. This strategy is effective because humans tend to rely on the first piece of information they receive, and that anchor shapes their perception of what is acceptable. Framing also comes into play when dealing with uncertainty. In situations where your boss or colleagues are unsure or indecisive, how you frame the decision can make all the difference. By framing the decision in terms of clarity and certainty, you can reduce uncertainty and make the decision feel more comfortable and safe. For example, if there's hesitation about adopting a new tool or process, framing the change as something that will lead to clearer workflows and easier decision-making helps reassure others and provides them with a clearer vision of the future. The more confident and clear you make the decision seem, the easier it will be for people to adopt it. Timing is another crucial aspect of framing. Presenting information at the right moment, when people are most receptive, can make the frame even more effective. For instance, During a meeting where your boss is focusing on short-term goals, framing your idea in terms of how it aligns with immediate needs or objectives will resonate more than framing it as a long-term benefit. By presenting your ideas at the right moment and in the right context, you increase the chances of getting approval and support. In situations where there is conflict or disagreement, reframing can be a powerful tool. This involves changing the way a situation or problem is perceived to reduce its emotional charge. For example, if there's disagreement over a project deadline, instead of framing the situation as a conflict about time constraints, you could reframe it as a shared goal of achieving the best possible results within the available time. By changing the focus from a problem to a common goal, you can reduce tension and create an atmosphere of collaboration rather than competition. Language plays a significant role in framing. The words you use can have a profound impact on how a message is received. For instance, the term investment is far more appealing than expenditure because it suggests growth and future returns. Similarly, using phrases like, "I need your input," instead of, "I need your approval," makes people feel more involved in the process and less like they're being asked to make a decision for you. Words are a tool for shaping how people think about the issue at hand, and by carefully choosing them, you can influence their response. Framing is also about perception management, shaping the way others perceive situations, information, and even your own ideas. How you frame your role in a project, for instance, can influence how your contributions are viewed. If you frame yourself as a key contributor who played a major role in the project's success, others are likely to view your input as more valuable. This framing helps shape your reputation and builds your influence, as people are more likely to give weight to the ideas and opinions of those they see as integral to the team's success. Ultimately, framing is a skill that can be learned and honed over time. By mastering the art of framing, you can shift the narrative around your ideas, proposals, and decisions, making them more appealing to others. Whether you're trying to get your boss to approve a new initiative, persuading a colleague to support your project, or even positioning yourself as a leader within your team, framing allows you to present information in a way that aligns with the preferences and perspectives of your audience. The key to effective framing is understanding the psychology behind it, recognizing the context in which it will be most effective, and using it to guide others' perceptions and decisions in a direction that benefits you. Maintaining the upper hand. Manipulating workplace power dynamics. Workplace power dynamics are often complex and subtle, but they play a significant role in determining who gets heard, who gets promoted, and who holds influence. Understanding these dynamics and knowing how to manipulate them can help you maintain control, secure your position, and advance your career without overtly pushing for power. Manipulating power dynamics isn't about dominating others, but rather about positioning yourself in ways that ensure you are seen as valuable, capable, and indispensable. Power in the workplace is often linked to visibility, control over resources, and influence over decision-making. One of the most effective ways to maintain an upper hand in workplace power dynamics is by positioning yourself as the go-to person for critical tasks, information, or skills. If you are the one who has the answers, the expertise, or the solutions, others will naturally turn to you for support, thereby reinforcing your position within the power structure. One key strategy for positioning yourself as a person of value is to diversify your skill set. By becoming proficient in a range of areas, you can become a linchpin in your workplace. When you have knowledge or expertise that is in demand, you hold the power to influence decisions and drive outcomes. Being the person who can solve problems, streamline processes, or introduce innovative ideas places you in a position of authority without you needing to claim it overtly. Another aspect of maintaining the upper hand is understanding who holds power and how power flows within the organization. This is often not limited to those at the top. Influence can also come from key players who control resources, information, or relationships within the company. By identifying these individuals and building strong relationships with them, you position yourself as someone who is connected to the pulse of the organization. By gaining favor with those in control, You not only secure your current position, but also pave the way for future opportunities. Another subtle yet powerful technique is to create alliances with influential colleagues, even those in different departments or teams. By positioning yourself as part of a network that spans multiple areas of the organization, you increase your influence and access to decision-making. These alliances can help shield you from potential workplace politics and power struggles, while also giving you greater influence over decisions that affect your role. People in power often prefer to work with those who are well-connected and trusted by others, so expanding your network can work to your advantage. Understanding organizational culture is another essential element of maintaining the upper hand in power dynamics. Every workplace has its own unwritten rules and expectations about behavior, communication, and decision-making. By understanding these cultural nuances, you can strategically navigate office politics and position yourself as someone who fits in with the culture while also influencing it. For example, if the organization values hierarchy and deference to authority, aligning your behavior with these values can increase your chances of gaining favor. Conversely, if the company culture values innovation and risk-taking, positioning yourself as a thought leader in these areas can elevate your status. Visibility is crucial in workplace power dynamics. Those who are often seen as leaders, experts, or in the know are more likely to be trusted with important decisions and assignments. You can increase your visibility by volunteering for high-profile projects, offering solutions to key problems, and ensuring your contributions are recognized. This doesn't mean seeking the spotlight at every opportunity, but rather ensuring that when it matters, your work stands out. By making your expertise and value visible to key decision-makers, you solidify your position as a person of influence. At the same time, it's important to manage your image in the workplace. The way others perceive you can significantly impact your ability to navigate power dynamics. People in power are often more likely to support individuals who are seen as competent, reliable, and strategic. Be mindful of how you present yourself in meetings, in your written communications, and in interactions with colleagues. A polished and professional image signals that you are serious, capable, and deserving of respect, which can help you maintain an upper hand in power dynamics. Another important strategy is to control the flow of information. Information is power, and those who control the information in a workplace often hold the most influence. Whether you are managing a team, overseeing projects, or simply engaged in daily communications, being aware of how information is shared and utilized can give you an edge in decision-making processes. By strategically sharing information with the right people at the right time, you can influence the direction of decisions and guide the conversation toward your desired outcomes. In many workplaces, authority is not just about position. It's also about perceived competence and expertise. Even if you don't hold the highest title in the company, you can still position yourself as an authority by consistently demonstrating expertise in key areas. This authority doesn't necessarily come from having a title. It comes from consistently delivering value, being knowledgeable, and being reliable. When others perceive you as an expert or a key resource, they will be more likely to seek your input and follow your lead. Lastly, one of the most subtle ways to maintain power in the workplace is through timing. When you choose to act, make a suggestion, or present an idea can significantly influence the outcomes. Timing plays a critical role in power dynamics because it allows you to align your actions with key decision-making moments. For example, proposing a solution when your boss is looking for ways to solve a specific issue gives you the opportunity to present yourself as part of the solution. Similarly, offering support or feedback at the right time, when your colleagues or boss are most receptive, can greatly increase your influence. Maintaining the upper hand in workplace power dynamics requires a combination of strategic positioning, effective communication, and a deep understanding of the organizational culture. By using these tactics, building relationships, enhancing your visibility, diversifying your skills, managing your image, controlling information, and aligning with key decision-makers, you can influence the flow of power in the workplace and position yourself as an indispensable asset. Ultimately, mastering these strategies allows you to navigate the workplace dynamics with confidence and control, making it easier to achieve your career goals and secure your place at the table. Navigating workplace politics, the hidden game of influence. Navigating workplace politics isn't just about direct influence or creating alliances. It's also about managing perceptions, understanding the unwritten rules of the organization, and strategically positioning yourself in the right circumstances. The real power lies in understanding how decisions are made behind the scenes and using this knowledge to subtly advance your goals. One of the most critical aspects of workplace politics is understanding the unspoken hierarchy. Not all power in the workplace is tied to official titles or roles. Often, influence comes from informal networks, people who may not hold an official leadership position but whose opinions are valued or whose support can sway decisions. These individuals often hold power because they have access to key information or because they act as gatekeepers to higher decision-makers. Recognizing who holds this kind of power within your organization and building relationships with these individuals can provide you with access to valuable resources and influence that may not be immediately visible on the organizational chart. Another often overlooked aspect of workplace politics is the unwritten rules that govern behavior within your organization. These rules aren't found in any formal policy documents, but are crucial to understanding how things truly work. For instance, some companies may have an unofficial culture of rewarding those who are visibly present in meetings or work late hours, even if the quality of the work isn't necessarily reflected in those actions. Others might value team players who always support the group agenda, even if it means sacrificing personal credit. Understanding these unwritten rules allows you to align your actions with the expectations that drive promotions and success. While building alliances is a widely known strategy, a more subtle way to influence the workplace is through sponsorship. Unlike mentorship, which is often informal and based on guidance, sponsorship involves actively advocating for someone's career advancement. Sponsors are the people who use their influence to open doors for others, recommending them for high-profile projects or ensuring they're considered for promotions. In a workplace where your performance may not always be visible to top leadership, having a sponsor can be one of the most effective ways to navigate office politics. They not only speak up on your behalf, but also help ensure that you're seen as a viable candidate for career advancement opportunities. In addition to securing sponsors, playing the long game is a crucial tactic in workplace politics. In an environment where decisions are often shaped by short-term pressures, adopting a long-term strategy can set you apart. Instead of focusing solely on immediate wins or quick recognition, position yourself as someone who thinks strategically and is invested in the organization's long-term success. This may mean putting in extra effort on long-term projects that don't pay off immediately, or aligning yourself with company goals and values that ensure your actions build long-lasting credibility over time. By doing so, you create a reputation that endures beyond individual projects, and your influence grows as you become known as a reliable, future-oriented contributor. While it's important to maintain relationships and build your influence, managing conflicts effectively is just as vital in workplace politics. Conflicts, if handled poorly, can derail your career. However, when handled with finesse, they can increase your influence and credibility. The first step in managing conflict is understanding whose interests are at stake. In any workplace disagreement, multiple parties are typically involved, each with their own concerns and motivations. By understanding these perspectives, you can position yourself as a mediator who seeks a solution that benefits everyone. This not only builds your reputation as a problem solver, but also allows you to gain influence by framing yourself as a balanced, diplomatic figure who can be trusted in challenging situations. Moreover, it's essential to reframe conflicts in a way that aligns with the organization's broader goals. If, for example, a project is delayed due to miscommunication or lack of resources, instead of pointing fingers, you could frame the situation as an opportunity for improvement. Acknowledging the challenges while highlighting solutions demonstrates leadership and initiative, further enhancing your reputation. The ability to frame a conflict in a constructive way, without alienating others, is a subtle yet effective political strategy that builds your credibility and influence in the long term. Controlling the narrative is another powerful tool in navigating workplace politics. People often base their opinions of you on how others perceive you and how your actions are framed. If you are able to shape how others perceive your work, contributions, and intentions, you gain an upper hand in influencing workplace decisions. This can be achieved through subtle tactics, such as ensuring your contributions are visible, being proactive about sharing your successes, or framing situations in ways that highlight your contributions without seeming boastful. By controlling how others view your work, you position yourself as a more influential player within the organization, without having to actively seek recognition. Perception management also involves understanding the psychology of the people in power. For instance, some bosses may value loyalty above all else, while others may prioritize innovation. If you know what your boss values most, you can tailor your approach to align with their priorities. For example, if your boss is results-driven, focus on presenting how your ideas will deliver measurable success. If they value teamwork, emphasize how your ideas contribute to collaborative efforts. By positioning your actions within the framework of what is important to the decision-makers, you can influence their perception of your work and gain greater support for your initiatives. Finally, adaptability is a key skill in navigating workplace politics. The political landscape in any organization is constantly evolving, and the strategies that work today may not be as effective tomorrow. To stay ahead, it's essential to remain flexible and open to adjusting your approach. Being able to recognize when a political strategy is no longer effective and pivoting to a new one demonstrates your ability to adapt and thrive in a changing environment. This adaptability allows you to maintain your influence, regardless of shifts in leadership, organizational priorities, or team dynamics. Navigating workplace politics is about more than just making the right connections or knowing when to speak up. It involves a deep understanding of organizational dynamics, the ability to build and maintain relationships, and a long-term strategic mindset. By managing perceptions, handling conflicts with skill, and positioning yourself as a valuable asset, you can successfully navigate the hidden game of workplace politics and use it to your advantage. How to use strategic timing for maximum influence. In the fast-paced world of the workplace, one of the most overlooked yet powerful elements of influence is timing. Knowing when to act, when to speak, and when to remain silent can significantly impact the outcome of your interactions and decisions. Timing isn't just about seizing opportunities. It's about recognizing the right moments and positioning yourself to make the most of them. Just as in business negotiations, the timing of your proposal or request can make the difference between success and failure. The first key to understanding timing in the workplace is recognizing that not all moments are created equal. In any given situation, there are moments when others are more receptive, when they are more likely to agree, or when they are more likely to act in your favor. Strategic timing involves identifying these moments and leveraging them to advance your agenda. Whether you're asking for a raise, proposing a new project, or seeking approval for an idea, aligning your request with the right timing can increase your chances of success. For example, presenting an idea when your boss is in a positive, receptive mood can be more effective than bringing it up during a stressful time. If your boss has just returned from a successful meeting or received positive feedback on a project, they are more likely to be open to new ideas. Similarly, timing a request for additional resources after the team has made significant progress can make it seem more reasonable. On the flip side, approaching your boss during a time of stress or conflict might result in a less favorable response. Recognizing these emotional cues and aligning your actions accordingly is an essential part of strategic timing. Another crucial aspect of timing is waiting for the right moment to speak up. In meetings or discussions, timing your contribution is just as important as the content itself. If you speak too early, your ideas might not be fully formed or may be dismissed before they're heard. If you speak too late, you may lose the opportunity to shape the conversation or influence the decision. The key is to listen carefully to the flow of the discussion and choose the right moment to make your point, preferably when there is a pause or when the conversation naturally aligns with your message. By waiting for the right timing, you can ensure that your words are heard, considered, and acted upon. In addition to timing your contributions in discussions, timing the delivery of information can also be a powerful influence tactic. The way you present information, whether it's a proposal, feedback, or a report, can have a significant impact on how it's received. For instance, delivering bad news or criticism in a timely manner, when the situation allows for it to be properly addressed, can be much more effective than waiting for a crisis to arise. Similarly, presenting a positive outcome after a period of struggle can help reinforce a sense of accomplishment and motivate others. By controlling the timing of how and when you deliver information, you have the power to shape the response it receives. Timing also plays a role in understanding when to push for your agenda and when to pull back. This is particularly important when navigating difficult conversations or negotiations. Pushing too hard too soon can lead to resistance, while waiting too long can result in missed opportunities. Being able to read the room and gauge the right time to assert your position or take a step back can be crucial in maintaining a balance of power in your favor. Taking a step back and letting others come to the table with their concerns first allows you to understand their position and use that information to frame your argument more effectively. It's a subtle way of giving others the space to voice their thoughts while still ensuring that your ideas are heard. Another aspect of timing is aligning your actions with broader organizational cycles. Many companies operate on specific cycles, fiscal budgets, annual reviews, project timelines, or even market trends. By aligning your proposals, requests, or actions with these cycles, you make them seem more timely and relevant. For example, proposing a new initiative at the start of a budget cycle makes it easier to secure funding or support. Similarly, asking for a performance review or promotion during an annual performance review cycle ensures that your request is framed within the company's typical process for evaluating employees. Strategic timing also involves anticipating future events and preparing accordingly. By understanding the timing of key events, whether it's a big meeting, a major decision, or a company-wide initiative, you can position yourself and your ideas to take advantage of these moments. For example, if a major leadership change is expected, preparing yourself to align with the new leadership's priorities ahead of time can place you in a favorable position when decisions are made. Similarly, anticipating changes in the market or organizational shifts can allow you to position your ideas as forward-thinking and timely, making them more likely to be embraced. Timing can also be crucial in personal career development. Knowing when to push for a promotion, when to seek new responsibilities, or when to make a career change can have a huge impact on your career trajectory. For example, timing your request for a promotion right after completing a major project or achieving a significant milestone increases the likelihood that your request will be well received. If you make your request during a time of organizational transition or when performance metrics are being evaluated, it aligns your request with the company's current priorities and makes it more likely to succeed. Lastly, patience is a vital aspect of strategic timing. Sometimes, the best approach is not to act immediately, but to wait for the right moment to present your ideas or make your moves. By being patient and observing the flow of events, you can make more informed decisions and avoid rushing into situations where the timing is off. Strategic patience allows you to position yourself better and avoid acting impulsively, which can undermine your influence in the workplace. Timing isn't just about seizing opportunities. It's about recognizing the right moments and making your move with precision. Whether you're presenting an idea, negotiating for resources, or positioning yourself for career advancement, understanding the importance of timing can significantly increase your chances of success. By becoming more attuned to the rhythms and cycles of your workplace, You can use timing as a strategic tool to influence decisions, shape outcomes, and ultimately secure your position as a key player in your organization. The role of confidence in workplace manipulation. Confidence is a critical element when it comes to influencing others in the workplace. The way you present yourself, your demeanor, tone, and body language can significantly affect how your ideas are received. Confidence is not just about projecting a sense of self-assuredness. It's about conveying to others that you believe in your ideas, your abilities, and your potential to succeed. In the context of workplace manipulation, confidence is a subtle yet powerful tool that can be used to guide decisions and shape perceptions, without being overtly aggressive or manipulative. At its core, confidence in the workplace is about believing in your own value and projecting that belief to others. When you're confident, you naturally attract attention, influence, and respect from your colleagues and superiors. Self-assurance encourages others to trust your judgment and expertise. When you speak with confidence, your ideas are more likely to be accepted, and people will be more inclined to follow your lead. This is particularly important when you're presenting new initiatives, suggesting changes, or proposing solutions to problems. People are more likely to listen to you and take you seriously if they sense that you believe in what you're saying. One important aspect of confidence is body language, which plays a significant role in how others perceive you. A confident posture, eye contact, and a firm handshake all signal to others that you are self-assured. A powerful stance, standing tall with your shoulders back, instantly communicates authority and confidence. Conversely, slouching or avoiding eye contact may signal uncertainty or a lack of self-belief. Being mindful of your body language can help you appear more confident, even in situations where you might feel uncertain. It's important to align your inner confidence with outward behavior so that you can create the right impression in every interaction. Confidence can also help manage workplace anxiety, which is a common issue many professionals face when navigating high-stakes situations like presentations, negotiations, or meetings with senior leadership. When you're confident, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by fear or nervousness, allowing you to handle pressure with ease. For instance, in a high-pressure meeting with your boss or colleagues, projecting calm and control not only influences how others view you, but also helps to ease the tension of the situation. Confidence enables you to speak clearly, assert your position, and manage difficult conversations more effectively. Another important facet of confidence in the workplace is assertiveness, the ability to express your thoughts, ideas, and needs clearly and respectfully. Assertiveness is about striking a balance between passivity and aggression. People who are confident in the workplace can express their opinions and advocate for themselves without being overly forceful or domineering. For example, if you're asking for a promotion or additional responsibilities, it's essential to confidently communicate why you deserve it, without coming across as entitled. Being assertive allows you to stand your ground while maintaining respect for others, which is a key component in subtle manipulation. It helps you make your point without pushing others into a corner or creating unnecessary conflict. Confidence also helps you project credibility in the workplace, especially when presenting ideas, leading projects, or interacting with decision-makers. When you're confident in your knowledge and expertise, others are more likely to see you as a reliable and competent individual. This is particularly important in leadership roles or when you're responsible for guiding others. By consistently demonstrating confidence in your decisions, you show that you're capable of handling complex situations, and your team will be more likely to trust your direction. People tend to follow confident individuals because they seem to know what they're doing and are decisive in their actions. However, it's important to note that overconfidence can be detrimental. While confidence is essential, it's crucial to strike the right balance. Overconfidence can be perceived as arrogance, and it may alienate colleagues or create a negative impression. It's important to remain humble and open to feedback while maintaining a sense of belief in your abilities. True confidence isn't about acting as though you know everything or can do no wrong. It's about being comfortable with your skills and abilities while also recognizing that you can grow and improve. Humility and confidence together create a balanced, respectful approach that helps maintain influence in the workplace. In addition to self-assurance, self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to achieve specific tasks is also a critical component of workplace confidence. When you believe that you are capable of completing a task or achieving a goal, you're more likely to take proactive steps toward success. This can be especially important in environments that require you to push boundaries or take risks. People who exhibit high self-efficacy are seen as more resourceful and resilient, which enhances their influence. If you consistently show that you can handle challenges and deliver results, your confidence will naturally grow, and so will the respect others have for you. Another powerful way to maintain confidence is by preparing thoroughly for tasks, presentations, or meetings. When you are well prepared, you naturally feel more confident because you know that you've done everything necessary to succeed. Preparation helps you anticipate challenges, answer questions, and present your ideas more effectively. Confidence grows from competence, and when you consistently demonstrate competence through preparation, you build trust and influence within the workplace. Finally, feedback plays a crucial role in building and maintaining confidence. Regularly seeking and receiving constructive feedback helps you understand your strengths and areas for improvement. When you act on feedback, it shows that you're willing to grow and develop, which only enhances your self-confidence. Additionally, receiving positive feedback reaffirms your abilities and encourages you to continue pushing forward. By embracing feedback, you continuously refine your approach, further solidifying your influence and your reputation as a confident, capable professional. Confidence is an indispensable tool in workplace influence. By embodying self-assurance, asserting your value without overstepping, and consistently demonstrating competence, you not only project confidence, but also leverage it to advance your career and influence the decisions of those around you. When used appropriately, confidence can help you shape your workplace dynamics, build stronger relationships, and ultimately position yourself as a leader in your organization. Subtle sabotage, using manipulation to undermine competitors ethically. In the competitive environment of the workplace, one of the most subtle but effective forms of influence is the art of subtle sabotage. However, it's important to approach this technique with care and ethics. Sabotage doesn't necessarily mean undermining someone in an overt, malicious way. It's about using strategic actions to weaken the position of a competitor or slow down their progress, all without crossing any ethical boundaries. When done correctly, subtle sabotage can help you gain an upper hand in competitive situations, positioning you as the person who can deliver results when others can't. One way to subtly sabotage a competitor's chances is by controlling the flow of information. In any workplace, information is often a key resource. The person with the right information at the right time can have a significant advantage. By selectively withholding information, or by subtly distorting the way information is framed, you can influence decision-making and leave your competitor in the dark. For instance, if you're working on a project with a colleague who is competing for a promotion, you might strategically share only part of the information, making them more likely to make mistakes or overlook crucial details. While this approach requires careful navigation to avoid direct conflict, it can provide you with an edge. Another tactic involves undermining confidence without being overt. This is about subtly sowing doubt in a competitor's abilities, often through indirect means. For example, you might casually mention how your competitor struggled in a recent meeting or highlight their occasional lapses in judgment without directly criticizing them. The goal here is to plant seeds of doubt in the minds of others about the person's capabilities, subtly positioning yourself as the more competent choice for upcoming opportunities. This type of indirect manipulation works because it doesn't come across as personal attacks, yet it can weaken the perception of your competitor's abilities. You can also engage in strategic positioning to undermine a competitor. For example, if there's a project or opportunity that both you and your colleague are vying for, you can make sure that you align yourself with key decision makers early on. By ingraining yourself as an indispensable resource, You increase your chances of being seen as the right choice for the opportunity, while your competitor is left at a disadvantage. This can be done by offering your expertise or assistance before the competition intensifies, making it harder for your competitor to gain the same access or support. This form of subtle sabotage is often effective because it relies on positioning yourself as the solution to problems, rather than directly attacking your rival. Another tactic involves highlighting your competitor's weaknesses in a non-confrontational way. For example, when working with a colleague on a team project, you might mention how their area of expertise isn't quite suited for the task at hand or suggest that another team member might be better for the job. You can also make casual comments about their inability to handle stress, implying that they're not cut out for high-pressure situations. These comments don't directly attack your competitor, but they subtly cast doubt on their capabilities, which can influence how they are perceived in future opportunities. Subtle sabotage can also involve controlling the narrative around a project. For example, if you are both working on the same task or proposal, you can shape how the project is perceived by focusing on its flaws or offering small critiques that bring attention to issues your competitor might not have noticed. Presenting your work as more polished or efficient can make it easier for others to view your ideas as the superior option. This tactic works because it doesn't directly challenge the competitor, but it shifts focus to your strengths while subtly undermining theirs. In addition, another key technique for subtle sabotage is playing the long game by gradually isolating your competitor. This can be done by aligning yourself with the decision-makers or influential individuals in the workplace, while subtly distancing your competitor from key projects, discussions, or opportunities. Over time, this isolation may create the perception that your competitor is less involved or not a team player, making it easier for you to take the lead in future opportunities. This form of sabotage isn't aggressive, but it's strategic in reducing your competitor's visibility and influence within the team or company. One of the most subtle but effective ways to sabotage a competitor is by using social influence to subtly align others against them. By fostering relationships with colleagues or team members and positioning yourself as the person who understands the work or situation best, you can shape others' opinions of your competitor. You might casually bring up past mistakes or minor flaws that others may have overlooked without directly attacking them. Over time, these small, repeated comments can build up, subtly shaping how others view your competitor without them even realizing it. It's important to note that ethical boundaries must be respected when employing subtle sabotage. Manipulating others for personal gain can backfire if it results in harmful consequences, such as damaging professional relationships or creating an atmosphere of mistrust. The key is to stay within the bounds of professionalism, using subtle tactics that don't directly harm others but help shift opportunities in your favor. By maintaining a professional image and staying focused on positive contributions, you can advance without resorting to overt manipulation or aggression. Ultimately, subtle sabotage in the workplace is about strategically positioning yourself as the most capable and reliable person for key opportunities, while leveraging your understanding of workplace dynamics to quietly diminish your competitors' chances. While it requires tact, patience, and subtlety, these tactics can be powerful when used correctly, allowing you to navigate competitive environments with finesse and influence. Ethical boundaries, knowing when to stop. In the world of workplace influence, it's crucial to understand where the line is between strategic manipulation and unethical behavior. While subtle manipulation can be a powerful tool for gaining favor, advancing your career, and achieving goals, it's essential to know when to stop. Crossing ethical boundaries can damage relationships, ruin reputations, and ultimately harm your career in the long run. Knowing when to exercise restraint is as important as knowing when to act. One of the first things to recognize is that manipulation should never come at the expense of another person's well-being. While it's fine to position yourself strategically, it's essential to avoid undermining others in ways that could damage their careers or personal lives. For instance, subtly sabotaging a colleague's project, spreading rumors, or intentionally misrepresenting information to hurt their chances of success may seem like an easy way to climb the ladder, but it comes with significant risks. Not only does it violate basic ethical standards, but it also creates a toxic work environment that can rebound negatively on you. Ethical manipulation is about respecting the dignity of others while pursuing your own goals. This means avoiding deceptive tactics such as misleading people about your intentions, exaggerating your abilities, or exploiting someone's trust for personal gain. Manipulation in its ethical form is grounded in transparency and mutual benefit. For example, if you're seeking a promotion, focus on presenting your strengths and contributions, but avoid downplaying the achievements of others or taking undue credit. Highlighting your value and aligning it with company goals is a legitimate form of influence. It's also critical to be aware of manipulating emotions. Emotional manipulation, such as using sympathy, guilt, or fear to influence someone's decision, can easily cross ethical lines. It's important to use emotions in a positive, empathetic way rather than trying to exploit others' vulnerabilities for your own advantage. For instance, offering support or help when a colleague is going through a difficult time can build trust and strengthen relationships. However, using their vulnerability to manipulate a situation for your personal gain is unethical and potentially damaging in the long run. Respect for consent and autonomy is another key element in maintaining ethical boundaries. Manipulation should never involve coercion or pressure to make someone act against their will. If you're pushing for a decision, ensure that the person involved feels comfortable and has the freedom to make their own choices. This is particularly important when dealing with higher-ups or colleagues who might feel pressured by your influence. Always give others the space to voice their opinions and make decisions without feeling manipulated. Additionally, trust is a foundational principle in ethical workplace manipulation. Manipulating someone's trust or deceiving them can have disastrous consequences. Trust is something that is built over time and can be easily broken with unethical behavior. If you manipulate someone in a way that erodes their trust, you not only harm that individual, but also damage your own reputation. Always be honest about your intentions and avoid undermining the integrity of relationships for short-term gain. Another consideration is long-term consequences. While certain tactics may seem effective in the moment, consider the potential fallout from your actions. Short-term manipulation may yield immediate rewards, but if it harms relationships, lowers morale, or leads to resentment, the long-term costs can outweigh the benefits. The workplace is a community, and unethical manipulation can damage your ability to collaborate effectively in the future. It's important to think about how your actions today will affect your career trajectory and your ability to maintain meaningful, positive relationships in the workplace. In conclusion, while workplace influence and subtle manipulation can be effective tools for achieving goals, it's vital to know where to draw the line. Always remember that ethical manipulation is about respecting others while strategically positioning yourself for success. By adhering to ethical standards, avoiding harm, and respecting the autonomy of others, you can use influence in a way that benefits both you and your colleagues, ensuring long-term success without compromising your integrity. The dark side of workplace manipulation: consequences and pitfalls. Workplace manipulation, when done strategically and ethically, can be a tool for achieving personal success and influence. However, the darker side of manipulation, when used unethically or excessively, can lead to significant consequences that affect not only the individual involved, but also the overall workplace environment. Understanding the potential pitfalls and long-term effects of manipulation is critical for anyone seeking to maintain a successful and sustainable career. The first major consequence of unethical manipulation is damaged relationships. Manipulating others to gain favor, undermine competitors, or secure promotions often involves deceiving or exploiting trust. This type of behavior leads to a breakdown in interpersonal relationships. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild, and colleagues or supervisors may start to view you with suspicion or resentment. In a collaborative work environment, damaged relationships can severely hinder your ability to work effectively with others. Eventually, this creates an isolated and toxic work culture where teamwork and communication are stifled and personal interests are prioritized over the collective good. Another potential pitfall is the reputation damage that comes from manipulative behavior. People in your workplace, particularly managers and senior colleagues, are quick to notice when manipulative tactics are being used. While you may achieve short-term success through manipulation, the long-term impact on your professional reputation can be devastating. Word travels fast in an office, and once you're labeled as manipulative or untrustworthy, it can be challenging to regain credibility. In many cases, those who engage in unethical manipulation may find themselves excluded from important opportunities, projects, or promotions, even if they initially succeeded in gaining favor. One of the most harmful aspects of unethical manipulation is the emotional toll it can take on both the manipulator and those being manipulated. Constantly engaging in manipulative behavior can create feelings of guilt, stress, and anxiety. The pressure to maintain a facade or manipulate others can drain your energy and focus, leaving you feeling burnt out and disconnected from your authentic self. For those being manipulated, the emotional toll can be even more profound. They may experience confusion, betrayal, and frustration, which can lead to a decrease in motivation and overall job satisfaction. This negative emotional cycle can lead to high employee turnover, which is detrimental to both individual careers and organizational health. The ethical compromise that comes with manipulation can also lead to internal conflict. Manipulating others may seem like an effective way to get ahead, but over time, it can erode your sense of integrity and personal values. Constantly justifying manipulative behavior can create a cognitive dissonance that chips away at your confidence and sense of self-respect. The realization that you are manipulating others for personal gain can create feelings of shame or self-doubt, and this internal conflict can eventually undermine your own sense of satisfaction in your career. Finally, legal or professional repercussions can result from unethical workplace manipulation. In some cases, manipulative actions can cross into harassment, discrimination, or fraudulent behavior. These actions can lead to formal complaints, lawsuits, or disciplinary actions, all of which can seriously damage your career and reputation. Even subtle manipulation, such as misrepresenting your role or performance, can be flagged by company ethics programs or even result in termination, depending on the severity of the actions. No matter how small the manipulative act seems, there's always the risk of it escalating to a point where legal or professional consequences are unavoidable. While workplace manipulation can offer short-term advantages, its darker side presents significant risks. Unethical manipulation damages relationships, tarnishes reputations, and creates long-term negative consequences for both individuals and teams. It's crucial to consider the long-term effects of any manipulative behavior and recognize that maintaining trust, integrity, and respect in the workplace is far more valuable than momentary gains. Choosing to avoid the pitfalls of manipulation involves aligning decisions with ethical standards, ensuring that career success is built on a foundation of respect and mutual benefit. How to defend against manipulation in the workplace. Networking in the workplace is not just about making casual connections. It's about strategically building a power base that you can leverage to achieve your goals. Strategic networking goes beyond meeting people at events or chatting with colleagues in the break room. It's about intentionally fostering relationships with key individuals who hold influence, whether formally or informally. By doing so, you can position yourself as a valuable player in your organization, gaining access to opportunities, resources, and decision-makers who can help you advance. One of the first steps in strategic networking is identifying the right people to connect with. Not all relationships are created equal. While it's important to be friendly with everyone, focusing on individuals who have the power to open doors for you is key. These people could be your direct superiors, but they might also include those in other departments, senior employees, or informal leaders within the organization who have the ear of top executives. By building relationships with these key individuals, you not only gain influence, but also increase your chances of being included in high-impact decisions and projects. To establish these powerful connections, you need to offer value to the people you want to connect with. Networking isn't about taking from others. It's about creating mutually beneficial relationships. Look for ways to support the people you're trying to build relationships with, whether it's offering assistance on a project, sharing information, or simply being a reliable and resourceful colleague. The more value you provide to others, the more likely they are to help you in return when the time comes. Networking is about giving first, and the results will follow when others recognize your contributions. Once you've identified key individuals and offered value, the next step is to nurture these relationships over time. Building a strong network is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to consistently engage with your network, offering support, checking in, and finding ways to stay top of mind. The key to successful networking is maintaining regular, meaningful contact with people in your network. This can be as simple as sending a quick email to check in, sharing an interesting article, or offering congratulations on a recent achievement. Consistent engagement keeps you connected and ensures that when an opportunity arises, you're the first person they think of. Another important aspect of strategic networking is diversification. While it's tempting to focus on people who are in your immediate circle or department, it's important to expand your network beyond those boundaries. By building relationships with individuals in different departments, roles, or even industries, you open yourself up to a wider range of opportunities and perspectives. Cross-departmental networking helps you gain a more holistic understanding of the organization and can give you an edge when it comes to positioning yourself for leadership roles or cross-functional projects. It's also crucial to remember that not all networking opportunities are obvious. While it's easy to identify networking opportunities during formal events, many of the most valuable connections are made in informal settings. Casual conversations in the hallway, during lunch breaks, or after a meeting often lead to the most genuine and impactful relationships. Taking the time to talk to people outside of formal work settings can help you build trust and rapport, laying the foundation for a stronger connection when you need it. Often, these informal conversations give you a deeper insight into the personality and values of the individuals you are trying to connect with, which can make future collaborations smoother and more effective. Lastly, social capital, the relationships and networks you build over time, is an asset that can be leveraged for career growth. Social capital provides you with a support system of individuals who are invested in your success. When the time comes to ask for a favor, recommendation, or support, your network will be more willing to assist if they feel they've benefited from your past interactions. This reciprocal nature of networking ensures that you're not only creating professional connections, but also developing a strong foundation of trust that can carry you through the ups and downs of your career. Strategic networking is an ongoing process that requires time, effort, and consistency. By focusing on building relationships with key influencers, offering value, and nurturing those connections, you position yourself for long-term success in the workplace. Your network becomes a power base, one that supports your professional growth, opens doors, and ultimately helps you climb the career ladder with confidence. Influence through giving, the power of generosity. In the pursuit of success, it's easy to get caught up in the power dynamics of the workplace and the temptation to use influence strategies to get ahead. However, navigating ethical dilemmas is a crucial part of maintaining a career that is not only successful, but also built on integrity. Every decision you make, from how you influence others to how you position yourself for advancement, presents an ethical choice. Understanding where the line between strategic influence and unethical manipulation lies is essential for long-term success in your professional life. One of the most common ethical dilemmas in the workplace revolves around the use of information. In an age where data and insights are incredibly valuable, the temptation to manipulate information to serve your agenda can be strong. However, distorting facts, misrepresenting data, or selectively withholding information can easily cross ethical boundaries. Using information to influence others should be about honesty and transparency. While framing your ideas in a way that highlights their strengths, it's important to be truthful about any potential challenges or drawbacks. Ethical influence involves providing a full and honest picture, not manipulating the truth for personal gain. Another ethical dilemma arises when interpersonal relationships are involved. While building a network of allies can be a strategic move, using personal relationships to manipulate outcomes is a slippery slope. Whether it's using your friendships to gain favor with your boss or relying on personal information to manipulate a colleague, leveraging relationships in this way undermines trust. Authentic relationships are based on mutual respect, not personal gain. While it's natural to want to help those you like and trust, taking advantage of personal connections to further your career can create a toxic dynamic where trust is compromised. Instead, focus on building genuine, professional relationships that benefit both parties without exploiting personal bonds for career advancement. Taking credit for others' work is another ethical dilemma that can arise in competitive workplaces. While it's important to showcase your accomplishments, it's equally important to give credit where it's due. If you're in a team and contribute to a project's success, it's tempting to highlight only your own role in the achievement. However, this behavior can damage relationships with colleagues and cause you to lose credibility. True influence comes from recognizing the contributions of others and showing gratitude for their support. Acknowledging your team's efforts not only strengthens your relationships, but also positions you as a leader who values collaboration and teamwork. The temptation to undermine others in order to elevate yourself is another ethical dilemma. In competitive environments, it's natural to want to stand out and gain recognition. However, actively sabotaging a colleague's efforts, whether through subtle comments or by taking credit for their work, can create an atmosphere of distrust and resentment. Subtle sabotage can be tempting, but it ultimately harms your reputation and relationships. Building others up and demonstrating your own capabilities without diminishing those of others is the ethical path. By collaborating and supporting your colleagues, you position yourself as a valuable team player who works toward collective success rather than individual gain at the expense of others. One of the most difficult ethical dilemmas involves the use of power and authority. As you climb the career ladder, you gain more influence and the ability to direct others. However, with power comes responsibility. Using your authority to manipulate decisions or force people to act in ways that serve your interests can quickly erode trust and respect. Ethical leaders use their power to empower others, not control them. By making decisions that are fair, transparent, and aligned with the best interests of the team and organization, you can navigate power dynamics without compromising your integrity. Finally, self-interest versus collective good is a core ethical dilemma that everyone faces. In the workplace, it's natural to focus on personal success. After all, that's how careers are built. However, ethical decision-making requires balancing your own interests with the needs of the organization and the people you work with. Manipulating situations for personal gain at the expense of others or the company as a whole can have long-term consequences, not only for you, but also for the broader workplace environment. Ethical influence requires that you act with integrity, keeping the collective well-being in mind while pursuing your goals. Navigating ethical dilemmas in the workplace is not always easy, especially when the pressure to succeed is high. However, maintaining integrity and a commitment to ethical decision-making is essential for building a sustainable and fulfilling career. By staying true to your values, respecting others, and making decisions that benefit both yourself and the organization, you can create a professional path that is not only successful, but also grounded in ethics and trust. Leveraging technology for workplace manipulation. Technology has become an integral part of the workplace, influencing everything from communication and decision-making to performance tracking and data analysis. While technology offers numerous benefits, it also presents new opportunities for strategic manipulation, allowing individuals to subtly influence others in ways that were not possible in traditional office settings. Leveraging technology for workplace manipulation involves using digital tools, platforms, and data to create an environment that serves your goals while still maintaining an appearance of fairness and objectivity. One of the most effective ways to manipulate within the workplace is through data control. Modern workplaces rely heavily on data to make decisions, from performance metrics to employee feedback and sales reports. By controlling the flow of data, whether by highlighting certain metrics, downplaying others, or selectively sharing information, you can influence how decisions are made. For example, if you're vying for a promotion and want to demonstrate your value, you might strategically present data that highlights your successful projects while omitting less favorable figures. Technology makes it easier to manipulate this data, whether by crafting reports or visualizing the data in ways that suit your objectives. This subtle use of data can tilt the playing field in your favor without appearing overtly manipulative. Social media platforms, internal communication tools, and collaboration apps also offer opportunities for manipulation. By carefully curating your online presence or controlling how you engage with colleagues and superiors, you can craft a specific image of yourself that aligns with your goals. For example, sharing success stories, posting industry-related insights, or engaging in high-visibility conversations can make you appear as an indispensable, highly knowledgeable employee. Even simple tactics like responding promptly to emails or appearing active on internal chat platforms can create the impression of efficiency and reliability, which can work in your favor when opportunities arise. Another way to manipulate through technology is by influencing algorithms. Many organizations use performance management software or automated systems to track and assess employees' work. Understanding how these algorithms prioritize certain actions or behaviors can give you a subtle advantage. For instance, if you know that a system rewards consistent check-ins or frequent updates on project management tools, you can tailor your activity to ensure that your contributions are highlighted. While this is not necessarily unethical, it's a strategic way of aligning your work style with the algorithms in place, ensuring that your efforts are more visible. Monitoring tools in the workplace also provide opportunities for subtle manipulation. Many organizations use employee monitoring software to track productivity, attendance, or even communication patterns. While these tools are meant to ensure accountability and improve performance, they can also be used to influence workplace dynamics. For example, if you are in a position of authority, tracking team activity and using this data to recognize high performers or reward specific behaviors can subtly influence others to align with your goals. The use of monitoring software to reinforce positive behaviors can give you an edge in shaping your team's performance without overtly dictating actions. However, using technology for manipulation also comes with risks. Over-reliance on these tools can lead to issues with transparency and trust, as colleagues may start to feel that their actions are being closely scrutinized or manipulated. Technology can often amplify a sense of isolation or control, making it important to balance strategic manipulation with ethical boundaries. It's crucial to ensure that technology is used in a way that enhances collaboration and productivity, rather than fostering a sense of fear or distrust. Using workplace manipulation responsibly. In the complex world of the workplace, subtle influence plays a pivotal role in shaping careers, relationships, and decisions. Whether it's through strategic networking, mastering cognitive biases, leveraging technology, or understanding power dynamics, the ability to influence others is an essential skill for achieving success. However, as we've explored throughout this guide, the key to effective workplace influence lies not in overt manipulation, but in using strategic tactics that align with both personal and organizational goals. Throughout the journey of workplace influence, we've seen how various techniques, ranging from understanding psychological biases to manipulating perceptions, can help individuals position themselves as valuable assets within their organizations. These methods can enhance personal success, but they must be used with care and ethical considerations. Manipulating others for personal gain at the expense of colleagues or the organization not only damages relationships, but also undermines your own credibility in the long run. Ethical influence, on the other hand, allows individuals to subtly sway decisions, gain support, and advance their careers without compromising their integrity. One of the most important takeaways is that authenticity and transparency remain vital, even when practicing subtle influence. While strategic manipulation can provide temporary benefits, true long-term success stems from building trust, fostering collaboration, and ensuring that influence is used to contribute positively to the team and organization. Success achieved through collaboration and ethical influence is far more sustainable than success obtained through deceit or exploitation. As we've also seen, understanding others' needs and motivations is a cornerstone of influence. Whether it's your boss, colleagues, or even external stakeholders, tailoring your approach to align with their desires, fears, and expectations can lead to smoother interactions and better outcomes. By becoming more aware of the psychological, emotional, and social factors at play, you gain a deeper understanding of how to shape situations in your favor, without the need for aggressive or overt tactics. Additionally, technology has opened up new frontiers for influence in the workplace. From leveraging data to enhance visibility to manipulating algorithms that track performance, technology offers immense power to influence decisions and perceptions. However, it is important to navigate these tools with caution, ensuring that they are used responsibly and do not cross ethical boundaries. Using technology in a way that fosters productivity, collaboration, and transparency, while minimizing manipulation, creates a healthier and more productive work environment. At the same time, workplace politics cannot be ignored. Navigating the complex web of office politics requires an understanding of how power operates within an organization and how to position yourself to influence key decisions. Developing strategic alliances, observing power dynamics, and adapting to the ever-changing workplace culture are crucial skills that will help you rise above competitors and become an influential figure in your organization. Finally, always remember that leadership and influence are not about controlling others, but about empowering them. The most effective influencers are those who can inspire, motivate, and guide others towards a common goal. They create environments where collaboration thrives and where everyone feels valued. By positioning yourself as a leader who leverages influence ethically and strategically, you can unlock endless opportunities for personal growth and career advancement. In a nutshell, workplace influence is an art, a delicate balance between strategic action, ethical behavior, and emotional intelligence. By understanding the dynamics of power, relationships, and decision-making, you can successfully navigate the professional world and position yourself for long-term success. Whether you're advancing in your career, driving organizational change, or gaining support for your ideas, the power of influence lies not in domination, but in the thoughtful and responsible use of the tools at your disposal.